Boxing Talk. This is your boy Town Biz. I'm your host. All right, so on my way home from work, I'm gonna knock out a couple of videos and then I'm gonna call it a night because I get up and go back to work. You know what I'm saying? Go do some overtime. So go keep it short. I'm gonna keep it short. I'm gonna talk about what's possibly next for Devin Haney. Then talk about basically the fight that we all look forward to seeing. Hopefully we can get that. And then I'm gonna talk about the situation with Jake Paul. Okay, but first I just wanted to say, as far as this thing with Brittany Griner, my heart goes out to her. I feel really bad because at the end of the, for her to get 9 years for basically, just bringing what she brought in, I wouldn't exactly consider that, the time fitting the crime. To me, they could have just kicked her out of the country and just told her not to come back. So I feel really bad for her. And I know people was like, well, Town really didn't cover this story. And it's not like I didn't care. It's not like I didn't care or whatever, because that wasn't the case. But it was just so much going on, and that just wasn't what I would call the extreme priority, and didn't have nothing to do with her being a woman or being, living an alternative lifestyle. Didn't have nothing to do with that, because I don't want to be accused of that. So it didn't have nothing to do with that. It's just, let's just face the fact, the Will Smith thing just consumed pretty much everything. The Will Smith, Chris Rock thing, that was just like the biggest story going for the past like 5 months, pretty much. It was everywhere. The Will Smith, Jada Pinkett thing, and Chris Rock, that was like the biggest story going. So, and besides other things. So that's why I really didn't focus on that story, but I feel bad for her. I hope something can be worked out to where she can be able to come home. But yeah, she shouldn't be getting no 9 years for that. But I just wanted to, speak on that right quick so people don't think I didn't care about what was going on with her. But I just wanted to get that out. All right, so I had done some research, and based off the debacle that happened with Jake Paul and Hasim Rahman, the finger pointing has begun. At the end of the day, I just don't think Jake Paul was going to go through with that fight. I just think he needed any way possible to get out of that fight. At the end of the day, Jake Paul's master plan is to try to keep this charade going another couple of years, and then see if he get a big payday for Canelo. And then he going to get it head kicked in by Canelo. That's why he talking about his next fight. He may go down to 185. So he can try to get as close to possibly being able to set up a fight with Canelo as possible. But he wants to keep this going for a few more fights. At least build up the interest and the thinking that he may possibly be able to do something with Canelo, which anybody with common sense know that he won't be able to do anything with Canelo. Even though Canelo got his ass handed to him by Bivol, Canelo still will be able to beat Jake Paul. And I'm sorry, that's just fact. And that's just what he wants to do, is keep this charade going, or participating in this BS on this dude. And the funny thing is, he's actually built up a fan base where you have people that actually try to cap for him and cape for him and stuff. Like, he just really wanted this fight. He really didn't want the fight. He really didn't want the fight. He was looking for a way out of this fight. He didn't even give the man a chance to even remotely try to see, could he get to 105 pounds, because that was his intentions. He got a little publicity, and that was it. He got a little publicity out of it, and that now he moves on. And he gonna find some MMA fighter to fight, or maybe some some, past a prime basketball player, or he may fight some garbage man, but that's what he's gonna probably try to do. At the end of the day, you should be able to see what this guy is doing. You haven't figured this out. You haven't figured out what this dude has been doing for the past 3 years with this crap. That's what he's been doing. This is you know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much the deal with him. All right, so you've been hearing talks of Devin Haney and him and Lomachenko possibly start negotiations for a fight. I think that'll be a great fight. Like I said before, take advantage of the fact that Lomachenko has been out of commission for a while. I don't even think he's mentally ready to be in a fight, but at the end of the day, take advantage of it. I think Devin Haney is at a point now where I think he could beat Lomachenko. Devin Haney should and will be favored against Lomachenko. Devin Haney is bigger than Lomachenko, and I think his skill set is right there where it needs to be. I don't think Lomachenko has devastating knockout power. I think Devin Haney could outbox him if he fights the right type of fight. And I think that fight, I think Lomachenko would be a sellable and marketable fight. Lomachenko has, as far as the diehard boxing community goes, you can put it at a smaller venue. You can put it at the Mandalay Bay. I mean, worst case scenario, if need be, then you can possibly put it at the MGM Grand. But I would try to go. And then if you didn't want to have it in Las Vegas, the Hulu Theater and Madison Square Garden, that'll be a nice venue for a fight like that, and it'll be a high profile fight for both of them. It'll be a high profile fight, and I like the idea of that fight. All right, so let me talk about the current state of what's going on, the latest. Still no indication on is anything official with Crawford versus Spence. You just hearing things. You just hearing that Bud is trying his hardest to get this fight done. And if the fight gets done, for some reason they're gonna probably try to give all the credit to Errol Spence when it's actually Bud that's been talking and doing the groundwork, laying foundation to try to get this fight did. One of the hurdles that was going on, it was, you heard that Errol Spence, if he lost, he got a rematch. But if he beat Terrence Crawford, he just got to move on. So basically that's like what was one of the, the sticking points besides the money and all that kind of stuff. So that's what you was hearing. But like I said, Bud been doing his part trying to get this fight did, where basically it looked like the PBC and Al Heyman threw every obstacle in the way to try to get out of trying to make this fight. But Bud has been diligently working on this fight, trying to get this fight did. Because at the end of the day, if this fight doesn't happen, because like I told you, I'm not finna say what people want me to say. If this fight doesn't get done, this falls all on Al Heyman and the PBC, because like I said, nobody else is in the way of this fight getting made. Nobody. And based off the fact that Bud has been diligently talking to Al Heyman, you can't say, oh, well, Bud don't want the fight. I mean, of course, you'll have those Errol Spence nut huggers like saying that baloney, but they've been proven to be full of it themselves. So hopefully something get did. And then now something else was also revealed, what I've been trying to tell you. You know, now that it came from Marcos Villegas, where he was basically saying that, you know, after this year, that Fox is getting out of the boxing business. Look like this deal with PBC is gonna come to an end. And you know why? It's what I've been saying for the longest. Which I tried to explain that to people, that they wasn't doing the numbers that they was reporting to us, which I already knew that anyway. Like I said before, if they was doing the type of numbers they was telling us they was doing a 3, 4, you know what I'm saying, doing those type of numbers, doing 2, 3, 400,000, that would have, you would at least think that's profitable, and they would have kept the deal going. But they would turn it a profit, because it appears that all Fox is doing is taking out, I guess, a percentage, like basically a broadcasting percentage, which is like 10%, which means they not footing the bill for nothing. That basically PBC is paying the money for all this stuff. So it kind of makes you wonder. So maybe this is why the PBC is saying, well, they may not have the resources to pay 100. PBC had several chances to make outside fights that could have been profitable for them and whoever they wanted to do business with, but they wanted to keep everything in-house. And the only people that suffered in behind this is the PBC and the fans, because they refuse to work with other promotional companies. They carry silly grudges like children and all this stuff. And it just, and then you had these content creators like sitting up co-signing this baloney. You know what I'm saying? We missed out on some of the biggest fights that could have possibly happened. You know, because people didn't want to do co-pay-per-view deals and all that kind of joint pay-per-view deals. So now this is where it is now. Like I said before, I told you that Fox wasn't doing the type of numbers that was being reported. This is why they let Errol Spence versus Ugas go back to Showtime, because like I said, they didn't want it. I told you guys that Errol Spence wasn't selling the pay-per-views that people were reporting. And I'm not attacking Errol Spence so you can save it. I'm not hating on Errol Spence. I'm just telling the truth. The proof is in the pudding. You don't let something go if it has value to you. Anybody that has semi-business savvy sense would know this. You're not going to say, oh, well, you know, you done made us so much money, but you can go. They don't care. And I've been telling you this, but people got so emotional and thought that I was, you know what I'm saying, and I was making it personal and all this kind of stuff. Nah, it wasn't personal. It wasn't personal. It was just me doing what I was supposed to do, which is report the news to you guys and let you know what was going on. But, you know, people had personal attacks against me. People got attitudes towards me, and I just want to say once again, I don't give a damn about you having an attitude towards me. That's real talk. It's not going to deter me from saying what I need to say, because a lot of y'all was spreading lies. You didn't know what the hell you was talking about. Actually, you did know what you were talking about. You just was trying to push a narrative, telling lies and deceiving the public. Because from what I heard, Errol Spence's pay-per-view numbers wasn't too far from Bud's. And then you've been hearing Tank wasn't doing the pay-per-view numbers, because I seen the text and I seen what Tank allegedly was doing in pay-per-view sales. Now, he sells a lot of tickets, but as far as pay-per-views go, well, you know, it is what it is. Like I said, none of this stuff is personal. I don't have no vendetta against none of these dudes. They get vendettas against anybody that challenge something that's being told, or you provide proof. They get attitudes, they make phone calls, and then they say, hey man, I don't want him to come to my fight. Like, what kind of shit is that? You know? But as long as certain people sit up there and cater to them and pamper them, then it's all good. You know, I ain't here to make these fighters feel good and pamper them and stuff. You know, you want to get pampered, you know what I'm saying? You go hire a masseuse. But you got to be careful what type of masseuse you hire, because you may end up like Deshaun Watson. So, you know, I'm just saying. I've been trying to tell you guys this. Been trying to tell you guys this for the longest. Now, I'm going to say this, how to fix this, and I'm going to do a video about this. What they should do with Crawford versus Spence, they should put a clause, basically a decision clause. Basically what I mean by that if either fighter win by decision, then they can run it back. But if there's a knockout, both fighters can go their separate ways. If Terrence Crawford stops Errol Spence, he can move on. And if vice versa, Spence stops Crawford, he can do what he want to do. If it's a stoppage, the only way it's a rematch if it goes the distance. And they should put that in the contract and then just leave it at that. And then move on. But like I said before, it's still some hurdles, you know, but I can just tell you this much before I go. All I can say from what I've been told, just keep your fingers crossed. Because like I said, I'm not going to sit up here and tell y'all, oh, it's going to be an announcement next week. All I can say is just keep your fingers crossed. Anyway, thank you for listening. It's your boy Town Biz. I'm out.